All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Frantic Talks podcast, episode 81. I am your host, Frantic. With me, as always, is my lovely co-host,
Grunt. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Indeed, we are here to talk about gaming
And junk.
All right, so we got an interesting show for you today. There's not been too much happening in the world of gaming. Probably because some game called Destiny 2 came out and everyone's too busy playing that to actually have stuff happen. We do have a story about some nipples, and then we're going to talk about some esports and the Olympics. We've covered it before, but there's some more interesting stuff that we potentially were going to talk about, just never found the right time to. With that being said, let's start off as we normally do. Let you know where you can find us to continue the conversation. As always, if you want to give us your opinion or any feedback, anything like that, hit us up on Twitter. That is the easiest way to find us. I am at FranticJ3. He is at OnyxSpartan, ONYX all one word, and we are at Frantic_Talks, which is right up there in the lovely logo. If you follow us, you'll get all our updates related to podcast articles when we go live, Also, head over to twitch.tv/Frantic Talks, all one word. That is where we go live every Saturday, usually, at 3 p.m. Eastern, usually. And besides that, you can head over to frantictalks.com, head down to the footer, and find all of the information along with Facebook, a couple other random links in there. But frantictalks.com is where all the articles and podcasts get posted, along with different articles that we do, our weekly articles, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we try to get stuff out, Monday podcast, Wednesday weekly column, and Friday we'll talk about the new stuff that's coming there that we have already posted one bit of, but we'll talk about it here in a minute. But there's also a link to magic.frantic talks there, but if you can't seem to find us, if you're having trouble figuring it out and you only remember the word Frantic Talks, Grunt, 110 times out of 10, what can they do?
Direct themselves to the nearest search engine and just search Frantic Talks. You will find us.
Guaranteed you will find us. So,
or your glimmer back.
Or your glimmer back. Anyways, we got some interesting stuff to talk about today, but we like to start the podcast off when we're not busy playing Destiny and actually not here by asking one very simple question. And that question is, Grunt, how's your week been?
Not too bad. It's been super busy. So busy that I forgot I was supposed to put an article out on Wednesday. Whoops.
It's okay. I mean, we didn't even show up for the podcast Saturday until 5 minutes into it. So
that's true. It's true. So yeah, I've been doing that. Most of that has been because of some Destiny 2 game. Never heard of it before.
Yeah,
might be fun though.
Never heard of it.
Been mostly playing that. I got my Hunter and Warlock up to level 20. Finally finished the story last weekend. Absolutely amazing story. I love it.
You enjoyed it? All right, that's good to hear.
Yes. Last week, too, some of the clan features were enabled, and a lot of those are cool. I appreciate the work everyone in Rubber Ducky Death Squad has been doing to get me free loot, basically.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a minute, because I'm really excited about that, but you continue with your week.
And outside of that, it's just been various odd and other things.
Yeah.
So,
nothing too crazy?
Nothing too crazy, no. Picked up a couple more cards to hopefully put in towards my Almath deck, but Primeval Titan, and I picked up another Zendikar Resurgent because you always need another one of those.
I hate to break it to you, but Prime Time is banned in Commander.
Prime Time?
Primeval Titan.
Well, alright, guess I'll be using it for something else then.
He's legal in Modern and Legacy, but he's banned in Commander.
I can see why now.
Yeah, he's...
Alright.
Yeah, it helps to check that list, but yeah, he's banned.
That there, kids, is why you do your research before doing anything.
Indeed. I have most of the cards memorized, what I can and can't play in Commander, but, you learn the hard way, because I did put Prime Time in one of my decks. My friend was like, hey, that's illegal, and I'm like, oh, whoops.
Whoops. Alright.
Been a couple other cards that have been that way, too, so... But anyways.
So I picked up that card for no reason, because it looked cool.
Dude, it's a kick-ass card. It's part of Iconic Masters for a reason, so,
It is. I have a... I think it would be, modern, legal deck that I'll probably maybe throw it into. It's a red-green deck, so...
Hey, as long as you got something to play it in, it's not just sitting there doing nothing, I suppose.
Right. Also picked up a Urabrask, the Hidden. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet.
Urabrask is an interesting one.
Yes, I don't remember exactly what it does, but it's pretty cool.
I should know what he does.
And that's been pretty much it. My week. Kind of kind of busy, kind of boring.
Yeah, I get you.
But that's been mine. How about yours?
Well, let's see. So last Saturday was our podcast, and then I was still playing straight through the weekend. All of Sunday, I had the dream set up. I had literally... Shut up, Freak Show. God, he's in the chat putting puns. God damn it. We tell him he can't drop puns in the goddamn podcast channel. He throws them... Oh, damn it. Oh, Jesus. For those of you that don't know what he said... He's mentioning Herbrest. It's not. It really is why we can't have a nice thing. Herbrest, the hidden Freak Show surprise that he could find him. You know, he's hidden and all. I'm not going to continue reading his puns. That's it. But anyways, so Sunday I had the dream set up. Right, I sent you guys a picture, I think, in the Kick chat of this. But basically, Sunday was NFL kickoff weekend. Besides the past Thursday where they had the first game, it was all the games on Sunday right in one spot. And I subscribed to Red Zone, so I'm like, yeah, I like sitting down and kind of watching Red Zone, tracking my fantasy guys and seeing all the plays and stuff. That way I don't got to catch up on SportsCenter the next day or something like that. It's just a much more entertaining way to watch football, in my opinion. And basically, I have this TV that comes from my bedroom. I put it out there on top of my entertainment stand right under my big TV where I play Destiny, and I had it going the whole time until like 8 o'clock at night when I finally stopped playing Destiny 2. But that was the dream setup, as I like to call it. It was a lot of fun playing Destiny 2 with Freak Show and you, Grunt, when you were able to hop on. I was able to finish the story on all three of my characters, and they're all 20, with my Hunter and Warlock being 270-something and my Titan lagging behind at like 250. But I was able to hop on one other time this past week, which was actually last night, and also the Nightfall. I forgot about that. I've done the Nightfall, and I hopped on last night for some PvP. I didn't know you had to finish the Call to Arms weekly one time in order to hop into Trials of Osiris, so I haven't done that yet. So yeah, even if we wanted to do Trials yesterday, like we had mentioned, we couldn't have, because I hadn't done the weekly.
Awkward.
So yeah, that's why I was like, don't worry that you didn't get on it. We couldn't even have done it. So anyways, besides that, had some busy stuff at work that kind of rolled over into the weekend, or not the weekend, the weeknights. So I was kind of busy there, so I didn't get too much time to do anything else truly, besides write a little bit of article, which I can talk about here in a second. It's on screen right now, so you might be reading that and thinking, what in the world is that? But in order to get a little more in-depth with what happened this past week on the Frantic Talks website, I noticed we actually have more than podcasts up. We've been able to actually start pushing content back out. We had a little bit of a lull there, where we were all just kind of busy with other random stuff, and you know, it happens, but we're starting to get back into the groove of things, where we had Destiny 2 podcast, which obviously we'd been playing since it came out, so writing articles was not at all at the top of our list. But then Grunt, like he said, accidentally forgot that he had an article that he was supposed to write, but he got it out, called Hate the Hating, very clever name, where he discusses gatekeeping and a lot of other different things, something that we're pretty anti-gatekeeping. This is almost like the anti-gatekeeping podcast, because I feel like it comes up every damn time we talk about something. Like
it really is. But, I mean, you shouldn't be wanting to keep people out of this thing that is gaming. People enjoy it for many different reasons, you know, and
yeah,
don't take that enjoyment away from them.
And that's the thing is, it's almost as if they are doing it in a passive way. It's almost like, oh, well, you don't enjoy it as much as I do. People wanting to be better than someone else in the same category, I guess, where it's like, oh, I know how to enjoy this game and you don't. Or there's a whole subreddit called r/gatekeeping, and it's just screen caps of people. There was one where it was like, this kid was like, oh, I'm struggling, I'm in the 4th grade or whatever, and this dude's like, you haven't even been in struggling, wait till you get to high school. And it's like, oh, so we're gatekeeping school now.
Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. It's shit like that. It's just, I don't know why people feel the need to just be like, my struggle is worse than your struggle, or my enjoyment is better than yours, or you're doing it wrong. But that's essentially what you talk about in this article. There's more to it than that, of course, and I would encourage you all to go read it. Don't want to spoil it too much here. But yeah, it's definitely a good read. But at the same time, we'll often talk about how annoying it is that people just decide that your likes are just unfounded, or they shouldn't be liked that way, or you're liking the wrong thing, whatever that is. And I know someone listening who might be upset at the things we said could go back through my post history and find 10 years ago when I said something stupid like that. But, you live and you learn, so...
And people change over 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, probably 5 years you could even find it, but, that's the whole point of learning. Is you're not perfect forever, and you don't think you ever will be. But you learn, so... I would encourage that to anybody who's listening and being upset that they feel like they can't like something or something like that. Just accept people's likes. That's the simplest thing here. With that preface, let's talk about the next article, because it's a very odd article that we're going to continue doing, and it's going to be almost niche in a way. Niche?
Yes.
Yeah, I think tomato there. So it's abbreviated FVF, and it is Frantic versus Freak Show. The first episode's called Attack of the Clones. So the idea here is, if you guys remember the Chronicles of AWE, or the Chronicles of Awe, Freak Show got this wrestling simulator called TEW, Totally Extreme Wrestling, and it's a booking simulator. So you book your shows and try to get the best ratings, and you build your own company. So you don't actually do like wrestling. You just kind of pick the wrestlers out, give them their gimmicks, book the matches, the angles, the promos, all that stuff. And so it's a managerial view of it. There's a lot of different simulation games out there like this. So if you're interested in something like that, and you maybe like wrestling, I would encourage you go get this game. It's a very good game. It's a little confusing and daunting at first, but once you start getting the hang of it, like I have, I did an entire booking while Freak Show was doing the Chronicles before we even attempted to do a 1v1 here, for lack of a better term. But essentially, we put together a fantasy roster of some of our favorite wrestlers from the old days, from currently, and then named it FTW, Frantic Talks Wrestling, of course, Frantic, for the win, all that fun stuff. And what we decided to do was see who could book the best show, or at least the best company. And I don't know how long we'll go into this, maybe like a year in-game, of course. But we're going to start posting our 1 month cards. So we do 4 weeks in the show, except the first episode, because our main events come in the third week of the month. But anyways, we're going to be doing roughly 4 shows and a pay-per-view per episode. It's a little long of a read, but it's definitely interesting. I know Grunt said he enjoyed his read through it. He might be biased, of course, but I definitely enjoyed our reads. We have Freak Show and I both created ourselves as characters in the game, and we're both managers for the most part. So we get to manage some wrestlers and have some fun with it. And it'll just be interesting to see how we build our storylines over the course of a couple of months in game and see what happens. So it's a very exciting idea, and I believe Freak Show will have the Chronicles of Awe returning next week, because we're looking to rotate those out. So doing FVF one week and Chronicles of Awe the next. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, Freak Show. So that's what's happening with the Frantic Talks website. It's more or less getting back to the normal stuff we had, because at a weird point there, like I said, we were in a little bit of a lull, kind of busy with life. Freak Show even was missing a computer, so only Grunt and I could write articles, taking away 2 of our weekly articles at that point almost. So basically, we're getting back on track, giving you some cool stuff, and I hope you guys come to enjoy a lot of that. And I'm hoping I can get back on track to making the website, refreshing the website's design. But that's been put on the back burner for a while now. I was talking about that like a year and a half ago on the podcast, and I still haven't gotten to it. It exists, and it looks nice. It's just, it needs fine-tuning, so I would be really bad if I just threw it out there right now.
You cannot rush perfection, or something like that.
If only it would be perfect when I released it. I'm sure it'll be okay, but anyways, that is that new article. Like I said, it's a little long. I think when we put it into the Google Docs thing, it was like 6 pages. Don't let that deter you. There is a lot of line breaks because we do short little paragraphs, so I feel like it's honestly a quicker read than you would expect. Especially if you're interested in it, you'll be reading right through it, because that's what I was doing. I was really intrigued by Freak Show's side and read through it in 5 seconds. So anyways, that's what's coming to the site, or more or less staying on the site and continuing to happen ever since the lull that was Destiny 2. And
Guy Jackson's pancake stand.
Jackson in the pancake stand. Oh, jeez. There's so many random events in the game that sometimes it's really funny. And Freak Shows really, so that before the game, before matches or before shows, you can have events happen. And one of mine was at the very beginning, someone made a pancake stand and was giving out pancakes, and it boosted morale. It was like, what? Why?
How?
What's really funny is I'm pretty sure we're set to cater their own food. So he was like, fuck your guys' food. I'm going to make pancakes.
Oh my god, that makes it even better.
Oh, jeez.
What I wonder is if he has a food license for it.
If he has a food license. I don't know.
because, or a health license, whatever
Yeah.
the proper term is here.
Oh, it was so funny. Geez. So, if you're interested in that, go check it out. Ain't going anywhere, so if you don't have time right now, it's quite alright, but definitely give it a read. Give us your feedback. Maybe you want us to improve how we're writing it, maybe some tweaks here and there. The formatting, I don't know. There's not too much to it, but like I said, let us know. And without further ado, let's get to some of the...
Sound off on let us know who you think had the better show for each week, too.
Yes, yeah, I almost forgot that.
Performance.
Yeah, so since it's a 1v1, and we can take the show ratings and claim that would be who won, we definitely want to hear who you think won in terms of storyline and matches and how interested you would have been. So let us know who you think won the first week, and of course, as each episode comes out, let us know who you think won, every other week. So, oops, I just, cracked my watch on the desk.
Stop that.
It's a big old metal watch. So, all right. So let's get into some interesting things to talk about today. And I promised you nipples. I guess I have to give you nipples. Honestly, I read that as shitless Mario. What?
This is it, everyone. This is the X-rated portion of the podcast that we talked about.
I mean, more or less, but not really. I grabbed this because the headline is just stupid. Shirtless Mario. What?
Is this another Stephen Totillo in the making?
No, because Totillo had a shitty opinion. This person's just giving us exactly, well, not a shitty opinion, a late to the party opinion, but at the same time presenting it like it's the holy shrine of opinions. No, so Shirtless Mario is another example of Nintendo trying to prove he's human. Whatever. Sure.
I mean, I always thought Mario was human to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, there might have been...
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm confused, I think, more or less. Not the fact that they showed him shirtless with nipples, but the fact that they're trying to prove he's human. I didn't know there was any doubt around it. I mean, I guess I could see it he lives in a mushroom kingdom where other things aren't so human. I guess there's some backstory I'm missing, but... Apparently people on Twitter were getting really upset at the fact that he was shirtless on the beach and not in his overalls, and that he actually had nipples. I don't know.
I don't even know. I don't even know where to begin with that. I don't think there is any place you can begin with that.
Yeah, and that's honestly the rest of the story. Basically is that they're just building to Mario Odyssey. But, in previous games like Mario Sunshine, he was wearing clothing, I guess, when he was on a beach, but whatever. But it's just so stupid. People freaking out about it. We always say, in non-video game news, whenever people freak out, about a Starbucks cup or something, it's do you guys have nothing better to do with your time? I feel like this is even more of a case of that, because it's freaking Mario. I don't know.
There are bigger issues in the world than Mario's nipples, and I can't believe I just said that.
Yeah, exactly. It's my God, man. This is one of those perfect cases for one of those memes where it's 1987, we were launching rockets into space. 2017, Mario has nipples. How far have we come as a society?
I'm outraged at this fact. I'm outraged. We were supposed to be on Mars, have flying cars.
What's great about this is most of the tweets that are shared in this article are actually really funny. There's a picture of Link with his shirt off and he doesn't have nipples. Also, it'd be weird if he didn't have nipples. I'm more concerned with the fact that he doesn't have a belly button, which means he wasn't born from a woman. People reading too much into it, but in a funny way.
Wow.
But other than that, it's just oh my God, nipples. Banned on Twitch, Freak Show just said, you have nipples, you're done. It's stupid. And I just wanted to share it because I wanted you also to know that these stupid things do exist, and people are very upset about them.
Mario does indeed need a quite long vacation.
Yeah. Gunblade says
especially for as many years as he has been working.
He's been a plumber forever, and Gunblade Warrior does mention that he probably does need a vacation. I don't know. Do plumbers get paid vacation? Someone let us know. I feel like it depends on who you work for.
Probably yes.
All right, so let's talk about something a little more serious, probably a lot more serious if I'm being honest here. So not too long ago, we discussed the Olympics and their consideration of esports and kind of had a discussion around that where we delved into a couple ideas where it's like I brought up the idea that the code had to be perfect or else, the equipment malfunction idea there. Ignore Grunt's face.
Freakshow made a horrible pun in the chat.
Yeah, he did. But we also discussed, would it be seen and received as a sport as much as it would just be the people who think, oh, you just sit on your butt playing games. But interestingly enough, the Olympics are basically saying you wouldn't expect to see violent titles. They don't want to promote violence in the games. So that means a lot of the popular esports currently, along the lines of Dota, Counter-Strike,
League of Legends,
LOL,
Overwatch,
those wouldn't be there. So that means that leaves one category for the most part, and that's the ones that resemble more or less action. Yeah.
Real world sports.
Real world sports.
Are also in those Olympics.
Right, and here's where I think that is a little more of a problem compared to the other ones. And you might be with me on this one, Grunt. So let's take Counter-Strike Global Offensive. You get a game of, I think it's 6v6. If not, it's all players versus all players. And you might see where I'm going with this. Who wins is purely determined on who has the more skill. Versus, I don't know, FIFA or Madden or any of those games, you control a whole team, but it's a lot of AI. And that...
Trust me, AI in sports games is not the best.
Exactly. The AI is prone to make stupid decisions. I can go to the Super Bowl in Madden on all Madden and win having a perfect record just because I know how to screw with the AI. If I just run a quick curl route, the AI, if it's in man coverage, is never going to get my guy. Boom! I'm in the freaking Super Bowl. You see what I mean? I understand that if we had these video games that are sports, it would make sense in the Olympics. Olympics are already physical sports, but not wanting to see the violent titles and saying we would aim for that more category.
Right.
Seems like you're leaving a lot of issues in the air there because, like I said, it's really the AI, which kind of goes back to the whole thing I was mentioning originally when we first talked about this. You got to wonder about the coding, how sound and fail-proof. Fail-proof, is that right? I mean, foolproof, fail-proof, whatever. You gotta worry about how structurally sound it is because if not, then it's prone to have issues, almost like an equipment malfunction in a sports game or in sports in real life.
Right.
But Grunt, you also brought up an interesting thing about violence when we discussed this on Twitter back when we were talking about bringing it into this conversation.
Right, and for wanting to promote basically nonviolence and peace amongst every nation that's competing in there, we sure do have a lot of violent sports. Or what some might consider violent. I mean, look at boxing.
Mm-hmm.
You have all the different forms of mixed martial arts that they do during the Summer Olympics, typically. They have fencing. If that isn't violence, I don't know.
It's literally sword fighting.
Sword fighting, yes. And then while it's not as prime of an example that the other three are, you have things like archery. Yeah, you're shooting at a target, but still. Many people would consider that using a device of violence or whatever.
And I mean, even then, with that archery example, a very good comparison would be in a video game. In archery, you're not killing anything. In video games, you're not killing anything either.
Pixels.
And I wouldn't even count. Like, you're literally not killing anything. Sure, in the game, you get a kill count, but you're not actually killing anything. Same as you are in fencing and archery. You're not actually killing somebody, but you now have the capability to do so. I would argue it's more dangerous to learn those things than it would be to play a video game with violence in it, which I think has actually been proven in numerous studies, but more to the point. Like, like Grunt saying, there's a lot of violent sports, and I don't remember. Well, I mean, soccer alone's so goddamn violent.
I mean, look at hockey. Granted,
Yeah.
they usually don't allow fighting in Olympic ice hockey. Usually, you get suspended for whatever, but still, look at all the NHL games that are played. Even the local games I've been to in years past, there's been a lot of fighting. So,
Right, and that's
like I said, they don't allow it on the Olympic level, but still,
right.
you see it happen every once in a while.
And I think because they don't let it happen on the Olympic level gives a little more strength to their argument, because they're like, no, we don't let that happen. Because we don't want the violence. I guess that's fair, but that's one in a dozen we've mentioned, because
Right.
like we said, the other ones are literally forms of what's the right word I'm trying to look for? Like, they were medieval fighting techniques, basically.
Right.
So yeah, there's an art form to it,
arts.
but no, medieval arts. So I don't like that. I feel like the guy or the person in charge, whoever the president of all this is, I think they mentioned the game later down in the the president of the International Olympic Committee basically said, it's Thomas Bach's. That's his name. I feel like what he doesn't understand, or he's just heard through the grapevine that video games are violent, and immediately threw up a red flag.
Right. And if we take a look at what they suggest, that leaves you with pretty much the only really popular esport game that would be left would be Rocket League.
Yeah, and that one, even then, the explosion's violent. Boom,
that's true.
Taken out. Like, seriously.
Although I think you can turn that off, can't you? Or is it like just always there?
That is, I do not know the answer to that question. Someone in the chat knows the answer to that. Let us know. But I don't think you can.
So then it's always there. We'll just assume that for now.
But yeah, even one of his quotes is, "This doesn't match with video games, which are about violence, explosions, and killing, and we have to draw a clear line." And
Torg is disappointed.
That's the same thing that came to my head. Just like violence, explosions, and killing is exactly how I read that in my mind. So I had to draw a line between Frantic and Torg, just like they're drawing a clear line between violence and sports.
Right.
But anyways, that's the thing. I don't know. Rocket League, I feel like you could say that's fine. It's literally just soccer with cars, and there's explosion, but there's no violence. There's no depiction of people. It's just little RC cars almost. Like,
right.
That seems like it could definitely make it, and that has a huge following. I mean, look at the I think it's RLS or RLC or whatever.
RLCS, yeah.
Yeah, the Rocket League Championship Series. I watch that a lot. I love the RLCS, and a lot of the people that play in that are really good. The gameplay is always entertaining, and the commentators are always really interesting, and it's great. That would be really good, but if we're going to aim for essentially the EA line of games, of all the sports games, not obvious. I mean, I don't think they'll actually use all of those, but there's basically that's what you'd be looking at. I agree for once with the author of this article, who basically says if it's esports resembling sports that are played in real life, like soccer, basketball, no one's going to watch that.
Right.
And that's not a knock against the games, as this person puts, and as I agree. That's literally, if you look at the top stuff on Twitch right now that's esports, none of them are NBA, FIFA, nothing.
It's things that are, Dota, League of Legends, Rocket League probably is the only top one that would be allowed, like we've already discussed.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it should be, but
if they don't allow anything but sports games, basically, they're not going to get the people to actually watch it. Mm-hmm. So they'll introduce, and that was one thing that we discussed when we first brought this up, was if they're going to have it, they need to have something. You need to use a game that brings people's attention into it. And yes. I don't really want to watch people virtually run around a soccer field. I typically watch soccer during the Olympics anyways, so I'll watch the real thing.
I'd much rather watch the real thing at that point, and that's a really good argument there, is that no one's going to be interested in the virtual version of what they can literally get if they wait till 7 o'clock that night or whatever when it actually comes on.
Right.
Unless they take a lot of the winter stuff and put it in the summer. That way you can still get the winter stuff, but in the summer, or vice versa. So, like, I think basketball's a winter one, so if they take that and put it into the summer, then you could get that. That's the only way I could see that even remotely working, but I don't think it would.
Right.
And there's one other complaint in this article by Thomas Bach, the head of the Olympics, whatever it was called, I already forgot.
International Olympic Committee.
Thank you, the IOC. I probably could have guessed that. Anyways, he has a more legit complaint about there not being a global sanctioning body, and that idea is just, RLCS, Dota, Smash Brothers, all those competitive ones all kind of run independently. There's no big group that kind of just governs it all as one. They list something like the FIBA, the FINA, and the IAAF. I don't know what all this stands for, but the FIBA is a basketball association, and I believe they handle stuff in between the Olympics. I could go to their website and tell you more, but
they run a lot of international tournaments for basketball and that stuff. So yeah, they do. It's like it is the International Association of all things basketball.
Yeah. So what's interesting?
The International NBA.
Okay. So what's interesting about that is some of the, if not all of them, I think they do internationally. I know RLCS, they do North American and European, and they've been trying to get Australia in. And the only problem is the skill level. Is North American and European are always top notch, and then Australia is kind of there, basically. But I haven't seen anybody from Asia or any African representation there. So you could argue that they're international. It's just we haven't seen anything like that. So I get what they're saying. And I feel like if there was promise of it being in the Olympics, that could form and get moving along, and people would fall in line to that, I feel like. But that's the only real legitimate thing I'm hearing out of all of this. I think it's just misinformation. Somebody heard on TV once that violence in video games caused some guy to shoot up a school, and then they were like, oh, we can't be doing that on the Olympics on a global scale. It's like, well, you didn't do any research.
Man, people saying wrong things in the news, I never would have thought of that.
People reading a headline and then extrapolating all of their opinions from it? No, that never happens.
No, never.
What world do you live in where that happens? Not this one, clearly. So yeah, that's just it's more or less an update to something we had discussed previously. Just that it's a weird little red flag they're throwing, and it's a red flag that we kind of both don't agree with, and they're on the same page on it, where it's just like, this is dumb.
Yeah, I think
do an ounce of research.
I think their biggest hurdle is the main complaint that the president of the IOC had was, there's no uniform international governing, I use loosely, body for video game esports. So, right. That's the biggest hurdle. But, looking at it, I've watched things like competitive Counter-Strike, and they have teams from all over the world. From European, most of them, again, are like Rocket League. They're from North America or Europe, but there's other teams throughout various parts of the world there. Mm-hmm. So, it's a start, but then if you're not going to allow games like Counter-Strike, you're back at step one.
Yeah, and they're just shooting themselves in the foot. And that's the real violent act. No, they're shooting themselves in the foot by just taking this and doing literally the worst possible thing you could do with it. So I hope that they open their eyes and ears, hear some other opinions if they haven't already. This was posted August 30th. That's 16 days ago. It's actually a little more than that.
17.
Yeah, 17. So if 18. They've...
Whatever.
There's a 31st in August, I'm pretty sure.
It'd be like 17 days.
Yeah. So it's been a little bit since this was posted. Unfortunately, I haven't seen an update to it in the past couple articles. I scrolled through a lot of the archives to try to find some stuff to talk about today. So if something has developed on this and we're missing some information there, we do apologize. But at the same time, Hopefully this isn't the last update, and I mean, it probably won't be, but hopefully this isn't the last time we hear about no violence and we hear more about, okay, we're more open to it. Some people talk to us or something along those lines. I can definitely understand why CSGO would not be included in an international thing because it's American spec ops shooting some foreign people. I could definitely...
I can understand that, yeah.
I understand that. It's a little different with Dota when it's aliens. So that...
Right.
Until we start conquering other planets, that'll probably be fine. But you get what I'm saying. So that about does it for that story. And I was going to cut it short there, but then I remembered I wanted to talk about something else. And I said it at the beginning of the podcast and then completely glanced over it. And that was Destiny 2 clan features.
Oh, yes.
So I'm going to pull up the Destiny website, Bungie.net actually here, just to have as a backdrop for this discussion. And so basically, the clan stuff went live, and it's honestly one of the cooler things in the game, in my opinion, because it rewards you if your clan does something, not necessarily if you do something. So our clan has been, we've reached the experience cap each week. You get 100,000 experience total each week that you can hit, and we've done that. So we're at level 2 and like 9/10, because level 2 to 3 is not 100,000, it's more than that. But interestingly enough, there are 4 engrams you can get each week and for doing weekly activities. What is it? Nightfall, Crucible,
the Raid, and the new version of Trials of Osiris, Trials of the Nine.
Yes. So in order to get these...
TO9, as I like to shorthand it as.
TO9 would be good, yeah, because it's not TOO. It's not 2.
No.
Yeah. But anyways, the Crucible one you get, you just play a game, right? You don't have to actually win it? Or do you have to win?
I'm not sure. I think you just have to play a game.
Okay. Of course, complete the Nightfall within the time limit. Well, you kind of have to beat it in the time limit regardless. But then the last two, the Raid and the Raid, you have to just complete, but that's obviously definitely a big task. And then the TO9, the Trials of the Nine, you have to have a winning card with people from your clan, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or is it just win?
You have to...
You win like 5 games.
The clan banner states that you have to complete the Raid with at least half of the fire team consisting of your clan members.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is all these have to be done with more than... you have to have like half clan members doing it. You can't just solo it.
Right.
Which, kind of says, play with your clan, not just go solo it and get rewards for everybody.
Right. And then Trials of the 9 engram requires pretty much the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Only same fire team requirement, that is. Only you have to have a 7-win ticket, I believe, 7-win card.
Okay.
In order to get it.
So not the easiest thing to do.
No, but luckily, Freak Show was all up in Trials of the 9 yesterday, so...
And he was able to get that for Rubber Ducky Death Squad, our clan, which, if you're interested in joining, let us know.
Yes.
Because we are definitely getting a lot more people into it. We've had a good amount of people online. It's been pretty sweet.
It is.
But I want to say that I really like this because for someone like me who only got the first weekend to play a lot and then kind of is only going to get, 3 or 4 hours a week to play, I can't be doing all of those things to get the requirements. Now, in Destiny 1, it was a matter of just jumping into 3 playlists and playing a quick round of something. Wasn't too bad, and that would be like one of your more weekly things that could get you some cool rewards. This is nice because the people who are more hardcore into it, like Freak Show, and I know you probably will end up doing some of these in some point in time, and many members of the clan as well, and if I have time I would. It's nice because I can hop on, kind of get some really cool rewards for being a part of an active clan, and I can still go enjoy the game and not feel like I'm so far behind everybody. I'm still getting some cool rewards for the weekly stuff, and I can still go do those weekly things and get even cooler rewards. But it's kind of a nice little, I don't want to say passive reward system, but it is and it isn't. I really like it. They've enhanced the clan so much from Destiny 1. Destiny 1, it was just a roster. That you got you got your clan name under your gamer tag, and then you could invite your roster friends. And then you got an achievement if you beat a raid with all your clan mates. That was about it. So this is tenfold better than the first game, and I really like what they're doing with it. You can contribute 15,000 total experience across 3 characters each week, so you can't just level up an entire clan. Again, breeds the more you have, the better. I don't know. It's definitely a very awesome way of including the clan, and it reminds me a lot of World of Warcraft, because in World of Warcraft, when you had a guild, once you hit certain levels, you got more benefits, like
And that's
extra
the same
experience.
way. And that's the same way clan banners work in Destiny 2 as well, which is really cool because once you hit clan rank 3, you get, I think it's increased rewards from public events for clan mates.
Yep, which will hit, probably on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Right. So that is very cool, I think. They definitely put more of an emphasis on being a part of a clan in Destiny 2, like you said. I like how so far it seems that it doesn't matter the amount or the size of the clan. Because when we first started this playing Destiny 2, we only had like around the 20 or 25 member number.
Right, yeah, that sounds about right.
And we were able to hit, the first couple ranks within the first week and a half, rather. I think it was 2 weeks, whatever.
Yeah, we got there really quick.
And that was only with probably maybe 10 people playing throughout that time frame. So not even half of our members were playing at that point. Well, we've gotten a few more people to join, and more people have gotten to actually play the game, and it's become a little easier because more people are contributing to the clan. But it's not like you have to have 1,000 members to get these rewards. It probably helps you get everything done quicker, but you don't have to have it. It rewards a small group of friends just as equal.
Exactly, and that's what I really like. And I think one other thing I want to say is that, I compared it to guilds and WoW. I think where it has the leg up in that sense is the seasons. Now, we don't know how long or what a season truly is, but your clan rewards and level will get reset every season. So we'll get sent back to level 1 whenever the season ends. Like maybe it's to the next expansion or sometime in between the halfway point. I don't know. But basically, they'll reset, and then we'll have to start regaining the experience to get different rewards. It's nice because in WoW, once you hit rank guild 25 or whatever, you're stuck with all the rewards and benefits, and it never goes away. And while that's really nice for when you create new characters and new people join and need to level up quicker to join you in the later in-game stuff, in Destiny, I feel like you obviously can't do a one-to-one comparison, but I think it's nice because you can restart all that progress and get different rewards. It's like, oh, I wish Trials of the Nine gave me better stuff. Maybe the clan banner gets updated to do stuff like that, or whatever it may be. I don't know. But that's just the idea, is that it's a little limited in scope right now, what we can get. We get like better, like you said, public event rewards. I think we get more glimmer from certain stuff. And then there's a couple other random things, but they're not like game changing, of course, and I don't expect them to be. I like that it's going to reset every whatever a season is. Maybe it's every 3 months, which would line up with our normal seasons in the real world. So who knows? I'm excited to see that, and I think this is one of my more favorite features of the game. And we didn't really say what those engrams are that you get for these weekly activities, but they're luminescent.
Very cool.
Right? That's what they're called? Luminescent?
Luminous.
Luminous, that's right. But yes, they are very cool. You get some really cool, unique pieces of armor or weapons out of them. Freak Show got this really fuzzy Titan chest that looks like he's got a raccoon on his back, basically, is the best way to put it. Out of his very first engram. That was like when we did the Crucible back in week 1. And I've gotten a couple other random things out of them, but I don't remember anything too particular. So
it's cool because from what I've seen so far, you can get an item from that particular event from that engram. So like last night, since we got the Trials of the Nine engram for the clan, I collected my engram from it and got, I think, a scout rifle that is a Trials of the Nine weapon.
Oh, sweet.
So you're going to be getting the same rewards as these people completing it. So I think it's cool because, I know there's a few people in our clan that don't care much for PvP, so they won't play it as much. They'll play it often, they'll play it when they want to or when they need to, but they're not going to be weekend warriors out there trying to go flawless in the new Trials mode.
That's an angle I never thought of, is the people who don't want to do those activities.
or the people that don't have the time, like you, to raid.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You can, if someone else from the clan, a couple other people from the clan complete the raid, you can still reap those rewards. You won't be getting as much as they do for actually doing the raid,
right?
But you still get something from it anyhow.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think is very, very cool, because it's like these people are doing this work. You're also getting rewarded for it too.
Right, exactly, and that's it's people who don't have the time to either raid or do the Trials of Osiris, or maybe some people who never will ever achieve a level of the Trials of Osiris that they're in, or maybe people who only play PvP don't want to do the raid, and maybe there's a really good gun in the raid, or something like that. It's nice because it's a slower way of obtaining the stuff from these activities, should you not want to do them or should you not be able to do them. And right. I think that's why I like it the most, because it fits a casual mindset, and I'm always preaching for casuals, not because I am one, which I guess I fall into that category in this case, but I'll even preach for casual.
Scrub.
No, I preach for casuals in Magic, and I'm a hardcore Magic player. It's just you got to keep everyone in mind. It's not always about the 1% who's really good at it. It's about everyone who plays it.
When you look at it that way, I would like to think that the hardcore players are getting rewarded for actually doing the activity.
Mm-hmm.
The casual players are getting rewarded for being part of a clan that does this stuff on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
So the game truly is trying to cater to both the hardcore group and the casual players like you and I.
And they could almost say that they're catering to the people who just to get them to play the game. Like a login bonus almost.
Right. I know a lot of people are upset that the clan engram rewards are like raid and trials items.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely sure about that. If I agree with being upset about that, because like I said, it's neat that someone plays trials, goes flawless, gets that 7-win card, even though you need 9 wins to go flawless, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yet someone like me, who probably might never get to 7 wins, could still get something for those that did.
Right, exactly. And
so it's very cool. I like it. To say the least that I like it is an understatement.
Yeah, and I'm on the same page, and we'll end on this note, and I just want to say I think the people that are upset about that kind of fall into the same category as the people who would get very upset if someone got their Galahorn on the first try and they'd been doing it 15 times in a row. It's kind of being more upset.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Being more upset at RNGesus, and the fact that it's enabling casuals to get the better gear before the more hardcore players could technically get it. And while that's a concern, I think I understand. It's not one I really agree with, I suppose. Yeah, it's... I get that there will be people who are upset by it, but ultimately I think it's the right move. It'll get people to keep logging back in to get the really good gear. Sure, you could be saying 5 people are doing all the work while other people reap the benefits, but the people doing the work are going to have a much better chance and are more likely to get a lot more better stuff than the people just casually logging in. So,
right.
So that's my argument against that. So, if anyone doesn't agree,
I have to agree with that, though. Honestly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we can end it at that point.
People too.
Casuals are people too. Should be like our subtitle of Frantic Talks. Casuals are people too.
Boom. There we go.
All right, guys. So let us know what you think, both about Mario's nipples, the Olympics, and the Destiny Clan features. Whether you agree with what we said, disagree with what we said, maybe 75% agree, 25% disagree. Maybe there was something we said that you didn't necessarily agree with, but all else was shining. Or vice versa, you agreed with like one thing and hated the rest. Who knows? Let us know, and the easiest way to do that is to head over to Twitter. I am at FranticJ3. He is at Onyx Spartan. ONIX Spartan. Oh, I've stumbled over my words there. And we are at
ONYX.
ONYX Spartan, one word, and we are at Frantic Talks, or Frantic_Talks on Twitter, and you can follow us for all our articles, updates, and the like. Also, you can head over to twitch.tv/Frantic Talks, all one word, where you can join us live every Saturday, usually at 3 p.m. Eastern. Usually, if you join us in on the conversation, you can usually get a shout out, just like Freak Show and Gunblade Warrior did today. You can maybe correct us if we're wrong, and just throw in your 2 cents here and there. It doesn't matter. We always enjoy having people there to kind of bounce ideas off of should we need to.
Tell Frantic how beautiful he is.
Tell Frantic, me, how beautiful I am. I always love those compliments. I stroked my facial hair here. Yes. Okay. It's enough of that.
All right, yeah, that's enough.
All right, guys. Also, you can head over to frantictalks.com. You'll find all the information I just said, along with our Facebook link in the footer. A link to our Discord might be in there. I don't know if I've actually added that. I probably haven't, but go to our Twitter account. Soon. It's pinned. Yeah, soon. Trademark.
Or just ask one of us for an invite, and we'll get you one.
Yeah, that too. And if you're interested in joining our clan, Rubber Ducky Death Squad on Destiny, let us know as well. Hit us up, like I said, on Twitter, or if you're in the clan chat, not clan chat, the Discord chat, which eventually will probably be the clan chat. Who knows? Just let us know. And frantictalks.com will have all that information. We'll have all the articles, the podcasts, the like, along with a link to magic.frantictalks.com, where you can find all our magical articles. We post articles on the Frantic Talks website Monday, Wednesday, Friday, normally, with Monday being the podcast in audio form, but with the video accompanying it. And Wednesday is a weekly column, either by me, Freak Show, or Grunt. And Friday will be rotating between the Chronicles of Awe and the Frantic vs. Freak Show wrestling booking series. So if you are interested in any of that, frantictalks.com. But hey, if you were some reason unable to find it, maybe typing in your browser didn't work, or you only remember Frantic Talks a week from now, there's one way, and that one way will always find us. 110 times out of 10, Grunt, what can they do?
Direct themselves to their nearest search engine and just search Frantic Talks. You'll find us.
We guarantee it.
We guarantee it.
Indeed.
Or your Glimmerback. Or
guarantee it. I like that. Or your Glimmerback. We're just going to stick to that.
60-day warranty or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, I'm not going.
Look back of your receipt. There's a return policy on there, I'm sure.
I'm not going through. I'm not going through this. Oh, Jesus. I'm not setting up a warranty for your enjoyment of this. No, that's too much paperwork. Alright, guys, like I said, let us know what you think. Like us on Facebook, follow on Twitter, all that great stuff to get your voice heard, continue the conversation beyond the podcast. And I think that about does it, unless you have anything else to add, Grunt.
Nope.
Alright, guys, well, I have to say this now because I just remembered there actually won't be a podcast next week, and we'll talk about that after this in a second, Grunt. So we will see you here in some short time. Either way, I'm Frantic.
I'm Grunt.
We'll see you guys next time.